My sister recently met and married a man serving a life sentence for first-degree murder. She kept their entire relationship a secret until she just texted me a picture of her wedding band and told me that she got married.
I don't think that's the actual issue.
I hope not.
Can I tell you what I think the actual issue is, and you can tell me if I'm wrong? Yo, what's up? This is John with the Dr. John Delony Show. So grateful that you've joined us. The greatest relationships and mental and emotional health show ever. That's not true by a long shot, but if you just keep saying it, I'm telling you, if you just keep saying it, it all just becomes true. It doesn't even have to be true anymore. So glad that you were with us. For more than 2 decades, I've been sitting with hurting people trying to figure out what's the next right move. Or help them figure out what's the next right move. And if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, you want to sit down with me and we can figure out what's the next thing to do in your world, give me a buzz, 1-844-693-3291, or go to johndelony.com/ask, A-S-K. I see you all in the booth laughing at me. Am I doing something? What did I do wrong? No.
You're good.
What I do?
Your shirt just has an image on it.
It's boobs. Your shirt has boobs.
No, it's Milo. It's his eyes. Looks like I have lobisms. Well, y'all are making me self-conscious now. I love this band. I love the Descendants. They're the best. Now I'm going to be all weirded out for the rest of the Thanks, guys. I've got 4 nipples today on this show. All right, let's go out to Morgantown, West Virginia, and talk to Gail. Hey, Gail, what's up?
Hi, Dr. John.
What's going on?
I have a confrontation, I guess you would call it, that I need to have with my sister.
Yeah.
I know, and I don't know how to go about this conversation. Just in general, I just don't do well with confrontations.
Excellent. All right, bring it on. What's the confrontation?
I wrote this out. I'll read this to you just a little bit.
All right.
My sister recently met and married a man serving a life sentence for first-degree murder. She met him while he was incarcerated.
Where? Is that like a special swipe right account? How do you do that?
No, he's like locally incarcerated from our area, and I guess they just knew somebody mutually, and her friend set her up with him.
That is a ride or die friend right there.
Yeah, really. I know.
All right, so they're married?
They are married now. She kept their entire relationship a secret until she just texted me a picture of her wedding band and told me that she got married. And she hadn't even mentioned at first that he was in prison. So just the fact that she got married and I didn't even know that she was in a relationship was shocking. And then she told me that he also was in prison. And it's just snowballed for there because there are a lot of other just terrible details.
I'm going to have a job forever because people keep making choices like this. Good gosh.
So he was sentenced to life in prison for first-degree murder, which he confessed to during the second trial. The first time the jury found him guilty, that was dismissed. And then the second time, instead of going to trial again, he chose to confess and take a plea deal. And this is also the second time he has served a sentence prison, and his first sentence was for attempted first-degree murder. And, of course, he says that he's innocent. My sister believes that twice, almost back-to-back, has been wrongfully convicted. And
as all new wives believe.
I know. And she just cannot be persuaded otherwise. And so anyway, he's up for parole soon. And
there's no chance.
That's what I thought,
there's
too.
No
but
chance.
She's adamant that she thinks that he has a chance. And
Gail, hold on. Has she ever been right?
Very true.
She's never been right. Since you've known her, she hasn't been right.
Right.
About anything.
Yeah. That's part of the problem, honestly.
If he's doing a life sentence for murder 1 on the back end of another sentence for attempted murder 1, he's not going to get paroled unless he's in California.
Right. Yeah. That's my thoughts too. And of course, she's adamant that she says, his lawyer has new information or whatever.
He sure does.
Which is what I tell her. I said, I'm sure he's telling you that, but I just don't think that that's true.
Well, I've seen Matlock enough to know that probably not. All right, so let's pretend, though, he gets out on parole.
Right. Yes, exactly. So that's the conversation. I guess right now it's easy to just kind of pretend like it's not happening.
No. Your sister's pretending. You can live in real world.
Yeah. But at least for us, the main issue is, my husband and I, we have 3 really young children. They're all under 5, and they all love my sister so much. And we see her a lot, and we talk to her a lot. They have no idea, of course, that any of this is going on. But if he gets out of prison and they are living their life together, I feel like we're gonna have to have a conversation to say, like, we don't want him in our lives or around the children, at the very least.
Why? Because of a little murder? Jeez.
Yeah,
Gail.
really.
I actually, I don't think that's the actual issue.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I think the actual issue is, and you can tell me if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
I think the actual issue is they don't know her. They love the whirling dervish that is their aunt that sweeps into their life and buys them a bunch of cool stuff and acts all bananas, and they think it's hilarious and fun, and then you and husband have to keep the rules, and then she wisps away, and the excitement for a kid, what'd you say, 5, 4, and 3 or something like that?
They're like 5, 3, and 7 months.
Good God, your house, by the way. Jeez.
I know. It is crazy.
So yeah, you have like multiple live chainsaws going in your living room, right, at any given moment. So they love and then it's like a roller coaster. It's fun.
Yeah.
You can't live there. I think the bigger issue here is very soon they'll begin to know her.
Yes, exactly.
And you're gonna
I totally agree.
You're going to have this confrontation. The guy's not getting out of jail. He's just not. But you're going to have this conversation when it turns into, hey, I want the kids to come stay with me for a month. Or why don't y'all go out of town and I'll come stay with them? And you're like, yeah, no. I think that's the confrontation that's coming.
That's true. That's very true. And my husband kind of thinks more that way too, because it's like, if she's making these type of judgment calls in this area of her life, what other type of judgment calls? We've never let the kids stay alone with her. Just before this has happened, she just hasn't made the best judgment calls,
Right.
So that actually does come up a lot, where she even, like on Valentine's Day, she said, why don't you guys go out and I'll watch the kids? And I was like, we're just going to take the kids with us.
Yeah. We want tonight to be extra hot, so we're taking all 3 of them.
Yes, because I just, I have been just avoiding having a difficult conversation. So I always just come up with excuses like that. Like, we're just going to take the kids with us,
And so can I say this? My guess is, and this is the compassionate side of me, your sister's had a rough go of it, hasn't she?
She has. We had a rough childhood, and then she has had became a mom. She was a teen mom, and she's always been a single mom, and she's had her struggles.
So she's had her struggles. I can guarantee you she can feel it a mile away when someone's not being honest with her.
Yeah, that's true.
And my guess, tell me if I'm wrong, I could be way out to lunch here. She does not handle direct, honest interactions very well, does she?
Yeah, no, she doesn't, because she thinks that she's specifically, we are Christians and my sister is not, and she specifically says that I'm judgmental and I think I'm holier than thou, and it just always, anytime I say anything to question her decisions, which she has previously made a lot of bad decisions. It just turns into a fight about that,
Yeah. Yelling at somebody and calling them judgmental when they're putting up a boundary or they're calling out unsafe actions, right? When somebody says, and so forget the right or wrong, right? Forget that.
Right.
She probably makes choices. I'm just going to guess, go out on a limb here, like marrying a murderer. She makes choices that are inherently unsafe, right?
Yeah.
And when you say something, it's easy to defend herself by just calling you the bad guy.
Yes.
So I don't blame her for that. I get it. I understand it. It's hard. It's hard to hear someone who loves you saying, "Hey, if you drink like that, or you snort that, or you sleep with that, you're gonna have problems, right?" It's easy just to throw grenades. So I think for you, the hard part is, I love my sister, and I have a duty to my kids.
Yeah.
I love my sister, and I have a responsibility towards my marriage.
Yeah.
And those may not intermingle much.
Yes, yes, I know. Yeah, that's very much true. And I don't know if maybe it just feels like it's coming to a head because this situation is just very like acute, I guess, but it's kind of in, just an overall problem, you know, with our relationship with her.
At some point, you're going to have to sit down and have the hard conversation, and it's going to be best. I like the way my friend Jefferson Fisher frames it. Like, you have to have a goal for the conversation. And
That's
if your goal is, I need to say all the things I need to say, you're going to leave in completely disconnected.
Okay.
So I want you to spend some time actually deciding, what is the goal of this confrontation I need to have? If it is to say, I'm never going to leave my kids with you, I just struggle to trust you. You just married a murderer. I struggle to trust you, and I struggle to trust you with the safety of our kids. I do love you around them, but we're going to be there.
Right.
And dude, the whirling dervish of middle fingers and like the way she'll talk about you and how dare you and who do you think you are. I mean, you can stand in the middle of that storm because you're anchored into reality.
Yeah.
But you got to ask yourself, what's the point of the conversation? Is it to give her a lifeline? Like, hey, when this thing burns to the ground, we'll still be here. I mean, you got to ask yourself what that goal is. If you go into the confrontation without a goal, no one's gonna be happy because you're gonna start searching for a feeling. Yeah, and you'll never get that. True. You'll never get that feeling.
Yeah. I think right now where her feelings are so strong about the situation with her husband, I feel like everything always circles back to that. And so I would think, like, if I had a conversation try to keep it broad and general, that it would circle back to that. And then I feel like it would almost be like she would give me an ultimatum, like,
she gets to do that.
Him, then,
she gets to do that.
Yeah. I'm just afraid that she will just be like, I don't know, no contact. Like, she will just say, well, if you don't want him, then you don't get me. Or
so what's your alternative to put your kids in an unsafe situation?
That's true. There's no solution.
No. I mean, there is a solution, but you want to have it all, and you can't.
Yeah, that's true.
You want to have a sister who's clearly been struggling for a long time, who just made a wild life decision, not hate you or not cut you off, because you probably feel like you're the only light in her life. And your kids are the only light in their life. And you see your kids dying laughing when she's around because she's probably pretty remarkable with your kids.
Yeah. They really love her so much.
Yeah, she's chaos and fun, and she's exactly what an aunt should be, right?
Yeah.
My sister goes by the name Tia Loca. I don't even know if my kids know. They do know her name, but they've never called her that. But she also is like super responsible, and she's a funny, hilarious, like everything's on fire when she comes in the house, which is exactly what you want with an aunt, right? That's what you want.
Yeah.
And also, she's not married to a murderer.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know what I mean? So,
like you said, right now they just see her as the fun aunt, but especially my 5-year-old in a couple of years, she's gonna, really just, I don't know, she's gonna learn more about her than just like, the fun side.
Well, she'll learn like when I'm coming for your birthday, and she doesn't show up, or I'm gonna be there, and she doesn't show up. That's when they'll begin to learn.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to sit in the heartbreak that all parents have to sit in with their kids when they learn that not everybody tells the truth. Not everybody has some people have struggles, and it's heartbreaking.
Right. I don't, my sister, she has always shown up. I think it's a matter of like, if we like would allow her to show up, depending on what state she's in. Yeah. So I think I'd worry too that it's going to come back, but like the kids are going to maybe be resentful of us if it becomes a no contact situation, even though it wasn't like we made it that way.
Yeah, I would just tell you, who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
My kids get resentful, especially my younger one, when I turn the TV off.
Yeah.
My younger one gets resentful when I don't let them eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of what they do because they're kids. They don't get a vote.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then when they get older, they're going to be really grateful that mom and dad stood in the gap when they were children and kept them safe to the best of their abilities. And I mean, just imagine the alternative. the other conversation.
Exactly.
Hey, Mom, why did you keep letting Aunt so-and-so come over when you knew she was going to sneak alcohol in here and she was going to leave us with murder boyfriend or murder husband?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you've got to let go, and it's going to be hard. Let go your responsibility for keeping your sister in check or in line. And you're going to have to recognize, I can't keep her in check and in line. No matter how much I love her, how much I try to coach her, no matter how much I try to, quote unquote, model the right, like a peaceful way of doing life, she's going to go marry a murderer. She's going to go do her thing. And let's say the 0.0001% chance this guy gets out on parole. Good, great, grand. He's not coming around my kids. And by the way, I've met people who got out on parole. They're almost always super clear-eyed. Like, yeah, of course, I understand that you want some space between me and your kids. That's not a problem. I'm not going to come over for Thanksgiving. I get it. I totally get it. And I want to honor the temperature of your household. I'm not going to show up there. So, I would love her the best I can. And when you think confrontation is coming, then be super clear and have a goal for the meeting. But I think before any of that goes on, you need to exhale and just be sad for a little bit, because I wish everyone could have an aunt like my sister. Everyone, I wish. And you don't have that. I'm sorry. It breaks my heart for you. Thanks for the call, my friend. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about Cozy Earth. In my house, I would prefer to go to sleep somewhere just south of the Arctic Circle. I like it cold. My wife, on the other hand, she would prefer to sleep on the surface of the sun. We can't agree on sleep temperature, but we can both agree on how much we love our Cozy Earth sheets. I don't know how they do it. It's some kind of temperature jujitsu, but she stays comfortable on her side of the bed, and I stay comfortable on my side of the bed with our Cozy Earth sheets, and we're both happy. And it won't shock you to know that before I started learning more about bedding, I thought sheets were just sheets. I've come to learn that all sheets are not created equal. There's a wide range of quality. From that awful, cheap, old fitted sheet I slept on in college to masterfully crafted sheets created with softness, strength, and comfort throughout. Cozy Earth is not just another bedsheet company. They make their sheets out of viscose from bamboo. You just have to experience how soft their sheets are to fully understand the difference. And remember, Cozy Earth's Spring into Comfort sale is happening right now with exclusive savings for you watching or listening to this show. 40% off everything. That's 40% off. Go to CozyEarth.com/Delony and use code Delony for 40% off. That's COZY. CozyEarth.com/Delony. Let's talk about Delete Me, my go-to provider for online safety, security, and peace of mind. Don't skip past this. Listen, we all know that we live on the internets these days. Our whole lives are on the internets, and I wish this was not the case, but it doesn't matter if I wish it wasn't the case. It just is. Everything we do takes place on the internet. Our work, our personal messages and communications. Because so much of our life exists on the internet now, it should become normal to give away our email addresses to random companies, to give our phone numbers away to random companies, and those companies turn around and sell our information to other companies. This is why I'm happy to use and recommend Delete Me. I looked at my reports from my friends at Delete Me. Listen, they reviewed over 35,000 different data brokers. 35,000 data brokers that had my personal information, and they've removed my personal information from hundreds of scammy data broker sites. Delete Me has saved me countless hours, days even, and they've sent me detailed reports throughout the year showing me exactly what they've removed, when they remove them, and from who. I want you to have this kind of peace too. Listen, we can't avoid our lives being on the internet, but we can make our personal data personal again with Delete Me. Get protected with Delete Me today and get 20% off all of the Delete Me plans. That comes out to less than $9 a month. Go to joindeleteme.com/Delony. That's join, JOIN, deleteme.com/Delony. All right, we are back. Hey, take 1 second for me, please, and subscribe to the show if you're watching this on YouTube, or go to the podcast and like it, or download it, or do the reviews with all the stars. all the stars. It makes such a huge difference for us. Thank you so much. Let's go out to Mitch in Chicago. What's up? What's up, Mitch?
Yeah, I called in. I've been having a little bit of trouble with my wife, and I was looking to try and get a little bit of advice.
Yeah, man. What's going on?
So my wife works as a nurse at a large hospital, and I work from home in a tech company. And some of her interests have kind of changed. She came home and kind of let me know that she had interest towards a coworker, and kind of caused a little bit of a tussle between us. And then I found out she was hanging out with some of her male doctors at their house. And she said that she was actually hanging out with some of her other coworkers who were different in a more social scene. So just been trying to kind of work through that and get on the same page and see what's going on. I was kind of wondering what your thoughts and opinions were.
I mean, I guess my first thing is like my first gut reaction. And again, this one's a little more challenging because you're not sitting in front of me. I can't see you. But it feels like one of two things. One, you don't fully want to metabolize the seriousness of this, or you've just come up with some safer, more generic, unflavored oatmeal language to describe the fact that your wife is having an affair. She's cheating on you.
Right.
Which one of those is true? Is one of it just nervous you're on the show and you don't want to like fully dive in, or is it hit differently when you're like, no, my wife's having an affair, she's cheating on me, and I think my life as I knew it is now over and different now?
I think I'm just trying to come to the sense of reality of it.
There you go. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, your whole world got blown up. How long have y'all been married?
We've been together for 12 years now.
Okay.
And we got married a little bit before COVID.
Okay, so just y'all been married for 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Ish. Okay. My gut tells me this didn't just start. How long has she had one foot out of the boat of this marriage?
I kind of just started to find out about this towards the middle of end of last year.
Okay. Was it a shock to you, or did you go, I knew it?
I was a little frustrated, to say the least.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked. Were you stunned by this? Did it catch you completely off guard, or did it confirm some fears you've had for a while?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know where this came from.
Okay. Did she ever cheat on you when y'all were dating? Y'all dated for 7 years, huh?
Yes, and no, she did not cheat on me during that time that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. I guess the bigger questions are: what are you going to do now? What do you want to do now?
It's a good question. We're trying to go to therapy at the moment to try and get an understanding. She indicated that she didn't cheat on me. She needed a father figure or another person who's more of a superiority individual to like talk about stuff with, because what she does as a nurse is very traumatic. She works in an OR room, then they do a lot of, they are saving life and death, I guess. And I don't know, she just kind of indicated that she never really cheated on me. She went to somebody else. It was more like an emotional type thing. I don't know if that helped to provide any context, but
yeah, I don't buy it.
Yeah,
at all. You go to lunch with an emotional affair. You send inappropriate texts with an emotional affair. You over disclose. That person becomes your safe place, and you begin dreaming about life with them as opposed to the person you're with. You don't go to their house over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I've been in those rooms, and I'm not in those rooms. I've never been in those rooms day in and day out, minute after minute, hour after hour. She's exactly right. It's a traumatic job. It's hard. And you go talk about those challenges with a counselor. You go talk about those challenges with a group. You tell her husband, hey, I'm struggling carrying the weight of this thing. I need to go talk to somebody. You don't sneak around for a year going over to, you know what I mean? And that, like, forget going over to doctor and surgeons' houses. She told you she's got feelings for somebody else. Am I wrong?
No.
Okay. So what are y'all going to therapy for? Because you can go with two different mindsets here. If you're going to understand what happened, if you're going to just poke around in the drawers, this will happen again. This will happen again. This will happen again. If you're going to save your marriage, then you'll have a different track to take. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because she's still going to work in the same place with these same people, right?
The individual no longer works there, is what she told me after some time.
Yeah, but I don't trust her as far as I can see her. Does she show you her text every day and have her location turned on?
She actually turned her location off and said it was overarching and overpowering.
Yet she wants a father figure?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. You love this woman, huh?
Yes, sir.
You'll have kids?
No.
Okay. My associate producer of the show let me know that she never even changed her name on her driver's license. Is that right?
Eventually she did. After some time.
How long?
But it took a while.
How many years?
3.
Okay. So just from the outside looking in, man, it sounds like somebody who, for whatever reason, it took y'all the better part of a decade to even get married. And even after that, she didn't want to give up her independence or her way of navigating the world. And maybe she didn't mind riding co-pilot or her driving and you riding co-pilot, but she wasn't going to become one with the person she married. And let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's say she's exactly right. She never slept with anybody. High five. But she doesn't trust you enough to say, I'm struggling. She doesn't honor you enough when she says, hey, I've got feeling for somebody else. And you say, okay, let's rebuild trust. And she's like, no. I can't rebuild trust like that. Like, you need it. Like, let me see your text and let me know where you are, because you're telling me you're going over these guys' houses late at night. And she says, whoa, slow down. That's too much. I mean, if behavior is a language, she's telling you, I want you there. I want you at home working the IT job so I can know that direct deposit's going to keep happening, but I want to go live my life. I want to deal with my stuff the way I want to deal with it. I want to involve other men in our circle of emotional and physical trust. And you just have a grown-up decision to make, my brother.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that for you.
We do split everything, which is nice and have separate bank accounts and things.
No, that's terrible. That's terrible. That means y'all are roommates, dude. And I say terrible, like, not as a judgment call, but as like, you can't make your marriage work that way. I mean, you have split emotions, you have split physical lives, you have split financial lives. It sounds like the only thing that's different is y'all went and got a government stamp on a piece of paper, but your lives are still as though you're dating.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I guess the path you got moving forward, brother, is to truly, honestly, and as painfully as this would be, write down the questions you actually have. Not the hem-haw, not the, like, put your head down and she just kind of tells these tales about, I'm struggling and then this, and then I had to go over to their house over and over and over again. And you say, will you go over there anymore? Like, how dare you ask that? It's too much. It's just too overbearing. You need to write down the questions you actually want to know the answers to. And then you're going to have to ask yourself, A, do I trust this person? B, do I want to stay married to this person? And C, what must be true for me to remain married? And no one can really make that decision for you.
Right.
I can just tell you, if I was to switch places with you, it would be real thin ice.
Yeah, I understand that.
Do you feel like you got the full story?
I feel like there might be a few areas of the painting that still needs to be drawn out.
Yeah.
But it's mostly there.
Okay. Well, I can't tell you what to do next, brother. All I can do is just say, from the outside looking in, you're right to feel completely bewildered, because the actions of both of you aren't the actions of a married couple that's going to be ride or die till the wheels fall off. It's going to be standing there at the castle gates, like, just saying, bring it on, world. It's us two versus y'all. Your marriage is built on, we have two different lives that we just happen to share a house and a marriage certificate. That's the way y'all run it, dude. You can run it that way. The data tells me it's not going to work. And I think a lot of people race off to marriage counseling after there's some sort of infidelity, and they just want to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And maybe you don't even know if you want to save this marriage. You want to find out some more information. You want to get to the bottom of some stuff, but it's going to always land on, what do you need to feel like I can reestablish and she can re-earn my trust? And what things are we going to do differently so that we create a life where 1 + 1 = 1? And that's the choice you're going to have to make, man. And again, if it's me, all the notifications are turned on. Probably she's getting another job. She's working at a different hospital. She's committing to letting you know, I'm struggling in these areas, and so I'm going to go talk to this professional or this person, and I'm not going over to other rock star surgeons and doctors' houses late at night and lying to you about it. I'm not going to continue working with people that I want to have relationship with, an intimate or romantic relationship with, or that I have feelings for, if you will. We're going to share finances, all those things. Like, man, you're going to have to do a bunch of different stuff that y'all haven't done in 10, 12 years of being together. And you're going to have to build a completely new marriage. And it's going to start with you asking yourself, do I still want to do that? And then asking her, do you want in on that? And that's two big question marks in my mind. And then from there, man, I believe y'all can build whatever you want to build. I just have a belief in people and redemption. I have a belief in people. If they've chosen a miserable life, they can choose an amazing one. But it all comes down to that choice. And both of you have to have both feet in the boat. Both of you have to be all the way in. Thanks for the call, my brother. Call anytime. And I'd love for her to reach out too, man. I'd love to hear her side of the story. But you have some hard questions to ask moving forward. We'll be right back. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. All right, so I was born and raised in Texas, and I love the myth of the lone cowboy. You know, the guy who doesn't need anyone or anything. He's got a mustache and he solves all his problems by himself. It's a great, fun story. And it's a lie. In a society that's obsessed with your diet and your workout routine and your job and your everything else, it's easy to forget that no one can do life alone. And I don't care whether you're introverted or extroverted or whatever internet-based relationship style you want to give yourself. I don't care about any of that. We all have to have a community and a support system to do life with. Listen, it's time to shift the focus from doing it all by ourselves to knowing that we can only be well and whole when we ask for help. Therapy can be a great source of support or help for any area of your life. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, try BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online therapy, so it can fit with your schedule. To get started, you just fill out a short online survey, and you'll get matched with a licensed therapist. If it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. This month, start to build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Delony to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Delony. All right, we are back. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, let's go out to Indianapolis, Indiana, and talk to JILL. What's up, Jill?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course. Thanks for calling in. What's going on in your world?
Well, I think I know the answer to this, but the question that I have is, how could I get my husband to prioritize his mental health when I'm at my breaking point?
I'm sorry. How long have you been this close to the edge?
I think that I have been at my breaking point for like 5 years, and I feel like recently I broke.
What broke it?
Well, I think what really did it was my husband and I have, he's kind of always been in this like low grade depression for a really long time, and it caused a lot of damage to, or a lot of hardship for our marriage. So we went to a marriage retreat thing, and it went really, really well. And he was great for about 6 weeks, and then it just went back to how it was. And I think that is really what broke me.
Yeah.
Finally.
You believed one more time, huh?
Yeah.
Do you have little ones?
Yes.
How old?
11, 9, and 6.
Oh, man.
So they're not little, but...
Yeah, but they're in prime absorption. Like they're able to absorb and see, right?
Yeah.
So I guess my question for you is, what do you want to be different?
I want him to be happy. Like, he's not my first love, but he was my best friend. And I miss my friend a lot. And I've tried, I've had other friends, and they're not him. Like, he's the one that I want, and he's not there. I married him because I knew that he would never, ever leave me. And it never really occurred to me that he would leave mentally and stay here physically, which might actually be worse.
Did it ever occur to you that he could feel the fact that you never fully loved him?
I fully loved him.
Okay. But you married him out of loyalty, not out of, I want to build a life with you?
No, I definitely wanted to build a life with him. He was a person who I knew that I could build a life with.
Okay.
Definitely that, he was not the first love. The first love was a teenage thing. It was definitely very
teenagey. That's cool.
It has had a lot of impact on our relationship.
Why is that?
Large part Specifically because when we were a couple years into our marriage, this first guy who basically ghosted me called me out of the blue, and I was like, what? And so I talked to him, and it caused huge upset in our relationship. I was 21, I think, when this happened. I got married very young.
Yeah. When you say you talked to him, I've learned that means different things to different generations of people.
I talked to him on the phone that night for a couple hours and just was like, what happened?
Oh, so you didn't talk to him, go hook back up with him?
No.
Oh, okay. And why did this phone call disrupt your husband's equilibrium so bad?
So it wasn't the phone call itself. It was me. It was, we were not doing great in our marriage already at the time. We've always kind of struggled. Mm-hmm. In large part, I think because my husband hasn't ever actually fully trusted me. But I didn't know that until after we got married. But so basically all of those, what happened with this first boyfriend, we'll call him, he kind of just disappeared out of my life, in the middle of the infatuation, in love period of the relationship.
But you were 18 though, right?
Yes.
Okay. How old are you now?
34.
Yeah, let's stop talking about high school boyfriend. Both him
I would love to.
and him and husband. If your husband's still bringing this up, then he's got some pretty significant challenges.
What is significant is that I was trying to talk to my husband about, basically I was confused. This is bringing up a lot of old feelings. We're not in a good place. And I was trying to talk to him, and I think what I was trying to do really was communicate, I'm confused. I'm kind of scared. I don't know what's going on. But what I said to him and what he heard was, he said, "Are you in love with him still?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Are you in love with me?" And I said, "I don't know." And that is the thing that was so extremely damaging. It's not about the boyfriend.
Okay, but that was when you were 21 years old, 15 years ago.
Yep. That's true.
The things I said 15 years ago, the things I said 7 years ago, God help me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The thing is y'all chose to stay together. You chose to work on it. You chose to make humans. Y'all have made 3 humans, right?
Yep.
So I guess at the end of the day, if that's still a thing floating around, that when you were 21, you admitted to your brand new husband that you still had feelings for a high school boyfriend, and you were confused because a lot of people get married and they think it's supposed to magically make all old flames go away. It doesn't, right? And they think I'm going to get married and it's going to magically be magic, and it's just super not, right? So all that to say is, I don't know anybody who gets married at 21 that doesn't say dumb stuff. I don't know anyone who gets married at 31 who doesn't say things that 10 years later they're like, "Woof, I wish I could have that one."
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Right? And so here's the deal.
I fully agree.
We're here right now. Let me ask you, what do you want? For you, when I asked you that question, the first thing you said is, "I want my husband to be happy." What do you want?
I want to be happy.
Oh, there you go. What does that mean? Paint me a picture of that.
I want to know that I am valued in my home and in my life.
But you don't value you, Jill. You're still heartbroken about a dumb thing you said when you were 21 years old. You think that the reason he doesn't talk to you is something is wrong with you.
That's the thing that I'm told.
I know, but you believe it.
I don't. I know that his stuff is not my fault.
Okay.
He has reacted to a lot of things, and I feel like in an effort to be fair to him, it is important for me to be transparent with what I actually did do to cause him damage. But I did not cause his stuff. His dad left him when he was 6. And I think that all of his stuff stems from that. But he doesn't really acknowledge that that's still a problem that he's never worked through.
I'm going to go one step further. Yes, that happened. Yes, you broke his heart when you said you still had feelings for another guy 15 years ago. He continues to struggle because he hasn't chosen to change his life.
Mm-hmm.
And now y'all have gotten in that weird figure 8 infinity loop dance that is you show up feeling less than in your own house, and you tiptoe around your own house, and you tiptoe around your own kids, and then he knows people are tiptoeing around him, and then he chooses to not do anything to bridge that gap, or his body shuts him down, whatever, and it just gets in this, and then you are reaching for ghosts, and this guy that was never going to leave you, but he's left you, like you said, perfectly. He left you, but he never left. And somebody has to stop that dance. And sometimes it is, here is the deal. Here's the life I am looking for. You have left me in our own home. Or a better way to say that, a more connecting way to say that is, I feel like you have left this marriage. You just haven't left our home. You haven't left our bed. Do you want to stay married to me? Because if you want to stay married to me, here's what must be true. And I would like to be married to you. What must be true for you to want to stay married to me? And y'all got to put that on the table.
I think right now my hang up is that we're about to our 15th anniversary. And for 14 years, I have always been the one bringing up the things that need to be talked about and pushing for the connection and pushing to resolve things. And
so, Jill, what's your alternative? Because now you're keeping score. When you start scorekeeping, that's somebody hovering over the ash of resentment. That's contempt. That's one of the Gottman's 4 horsemen of the end of a marriage. I've been doing so much, you've been doing nothing but being a net drain on this relationship. And suddenly you find yourself going up a ladder and you're looking down upon him. I've been doing this 15 years. I'm out.
I mean, that is essentially where I am. I'm trying to be peaceful. Like, that's basically what I'm trying to do now, but I'm not bringing up the things that need to be talked about because I'm exhausted.
I get that. So are you going to leave?
No.
Okay. So you're going to stay?
Yes.
You're never going to leave?
No.
Okay. If you're going to make that choice that I'm going to stay, then that frames what your next move is. If there is a or else line you're drawing, this has to change or else I'm going to go live my life. Because this isn't a marriage of fidelity. He's choosing to opt out of the marriage. And maybe he didn't sleep with somebody or he's not opting out with work, but he's opting out by choosing to not engage. if there's not an or else line you're going to draw, then you have to do one of two things. Make peace with the way it is and begin to live your life. If you don't want to go dancing with me, fine. I'm going to go take dance lessons because I want to dance.
I have done a lot of that. It's just lonely.
It's so lonely. But I guess what I'm trying to get you to see is the prison you're in is locked on the inside. And there's not a move you make without consequence. If you bring it up yet again, you're going to be mad at yourself because you swore yourself last time, I'm not bringing this up anymore. He has to start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And like the old Dr. Phil line, like, do you want to be right or you want to be married? So I'm going to bring it up one last time. Or letting him know, I'm not bringing this up anymore. I'm tired of being lonely. And so I'm going to go find some friends and we're going to go do life. I'd love for you to join me. My bigger concern right now is your 3 kids are absorbing this is what marriage is.
This is what marriage is. This is what people look like.
This is what love looks like. This is what husbands who go to the ends of the earth for their wives look like. This is what, and instead they're getting like, this is what it feels like when mom gives up.
Yep.
This is what it feels like when dad quits. And peace, keeping the peace in a household feels like electricity for a child. They feel it. And I hope you hear me not dumping all of this back on you. I just want you to hold. You're the only one. Your husband clearly doesn't want to make another move. He kind of likes the way his life is. He gets to do whatever he wants, thinks how he wants. He doesn't have any responsibilities, and the life just keeps going on. And also, I bet he's miserable in his own skin. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you said it when you called. You knew my answer. There's nothing you can do. You can't. There's not a thing you haven't said. Other than maybe I love you till the end of time and I'm never going to leave you. And the day you want to start having joy in your life, I'll be right here. But what I want you to do, if that's your decision, I want you to make peace with it because right now you're at war in your own body.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that is at war at the moment is this is the first year ever in my life when leaving came up as an actual thing that I wanted.
How'd it go?
What do you mean?
I mean, when you brought it up, did you put it on the table and tell him that you're considering leaving?
No.
Okay. Can I tell you? He knows. He can feel it.
Okay, so the thing is, I wasn't considering leaving. I want to. I do want to, but I won't. And if he doesn't know that about me after 17 years, I feel like I've fallen off the rope. I'm not even at the end of the rope anymore. I've fallen off the rope as to how to get him to believe me that my loyalty has nothing to do with how I feel. And that's a comfort to me. That would be a comfort to me.
Yeah, but you're not underwater in depression when your feelings weigh so heavy that they are immobilizing.
I guess maybe not as bad as him.
Are you scared to hurt this guy?
I feel like the only reason why I'm not
immobilized, why I don't come home and be catatonic some days like he does, is because I don't have that luxury.
That's right. And I hear this from mothers all over the country. When people are like, how'd you do it? And you're like, I have to. Like there's no way to explain it. I've got 3 kids who have to eat. And to quote Henry Cloud, what your husband needs is some problems. He needs to know his laundry's just not going to magically appear. That his kids don't just magically come home and have every one of their needs taken care of while he sits there and just veges out. It may be that your husband needs some problems that aren't just in his head, but that are in reality. So he'll stand up on his own 2 feet and begin to get his feet underneath him. It's a decade and a half. Something's got to change. And if nothing changes, nothing's going to change. But I can't stress this enough. You got to go find a therapist in your local area and sit down and talk to somebody. Because I think your trend line is not great either. But the prison you're in is locked from the inside, and I want you to turn the key. And I know it's scary out there, but I want you to turn the key and take a step out. Let's confront that reality. Go get them. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about Hallow, the #1 prayer and meditation app in the world. It's officially Lent, which are the 40 days leading up to Good Friday and Easter. And Lent is when Christians all over the world commit to a season of fasting from all sorts of things, and they commit themselves to reconnection and remembering, prayer, and meditation. Right now, Hallow has a challenge going on called The Way. It's meant to reflect living the way of Jesus, and that means doing hard things that lead to peace, joy, and healing over time. Throughout the way, you'll get to hear some incredible stories from people like Jonathan Rumi of The Chosen, Chris Pratt, and Mark Wahlberg, and you'll also be invited to participate in experiencing life change yourself. Plus, you can check out Hallow's Lent Challenge for kids. It's called The Little Way. It's a fun, meaningful adventure for the whole family as y'all will follow along with 2 kids learning to live out gratitude every day. And this is just a tiny bit of what Hallow offers. Hallow has an enormous catalog of music, guided prayers, meditations, and more. And when you sign up at hallow.com/Delony, you'll get 3 months for free. That means you're covered through the entire Lent season and beyond. Go check out Hallow at hallow.com/Delony. That's Hallow, HALLOW.com/Delony for 3 months for free. All right, we're back. We got a money and marriage question. Let it rip.
Yeah, so this one is, how can I be more intentional about adding more fun and lightness into our marriage?
Oh, dude. Man, I love that question. One of the things that every marriage researcher talks about, Esther Perel, the Gottmans, everybody talks about is we have such a ROI'd, work-centric world that we do every action we take has to have a benefit to it. We exercise so we can. We do this so we can. I even talk about it. Like I work out now so that when I'm 90, I can roll around with my grandkids, right? Like everything is so ROI oriented. And dude, we have sucked the joy out of being alive. Fun. Just fun. We've lost fun. So what are some ways to, like, in couples all over the country, they reach out, dude, they've recognized this. Our house functions so well. Our finances are getting back on track. We put sex on the calendar. We have it 2.1 times a week. All the things. Dude, we don't have any fun in our house. We just don't have any fun. So the only word I can give you is practice. And I know it sounds dumb to practice fun, but you got to practice fun. What does that mean? Sometimes let the kids stay up too late. Sometimes fill up a bucket of water balloons and just drill your kids when they get off the bus. Just unload on them, you and your spouse. Sometimes the dinner's halfway being done and you're like, I don't want to eat this tonight. Just order pizza. Sometimes turn all the music up on Spotify as loud as it will go and just have a dance off. Sometimes play spin the bottle with your husband or wife. That might even be fun. Play truth or dare. The John Delony erotic envelope system. Just come up with 5 things you want to try, 5 things they want to try, and then you just agree to pull one up. And you won't judge what's on that card. You're just going to be curious about it, even if you don't even understand the physics and geometry of whatever they put on that. Like, I don't know how this is physically possible to try, but I want to hear about it. Like, choose curiosity, choose fun, and inject some things in there. In my house, Here's some things we've done. My wife, with her dream is to be in bed by 9 o'clock every night. Like, just dream. And she hears the next morning when I'm talking about how hilarious a comedian was. So last year she put on the calendar, I'm going to go to this many live comedy shows. John, you curate it for me. And she knows, I know the kind of humor she likes, and I especially know the kind of humor she doesn't like, so I curated them specifically. But when somebody was coming to town, I was like, you got to go to this one. And dude, we laughed our heads off. She put on the calendar, I will go to some concerts. That means I'm going to be out till midnight or 1 a.m. And dude, we went and hung out with the Avett Brothers. We went and hung out with Frank Turner. We went and hung out with some of our heroes, and it was awesome. And on the other side, I committed, on certain nights, I'm going to go to bed at 9:30. I'm just going to go to bed early. And then lo and behold, I sleep all night. I wake up feeling like $1,000,000. The mornings are full of laughter instead of me being all grumpy and mainlining coffee. Like it's just we have a wrestling mat in our living room, so me and my daughter can just literally go Karate Kid 3 as often as we can. My son and I are always making jokes. So it's just a choice to, I'm going to release my grip a little bit on routine, release my grip a little bit on everything's got to be tucked in, release my grip on my hair's got to be just perfect. And instead, I'm going to focus on laughter, fun, play, joy, and whatever that means to your house, knock your lights out. It might even mean when your kid's playing Minecraft that you go in the other room and log in on a separate account and you just attack, right? I don't know what that means in your house, but let it. Can you attack somebody on a Roblox? I don't know. I'm into things on it. Yeah, the two nerds in the booth are like, absolutely. I don't know. I mean, that'd be funny if your dad suddenly had a secret Fortnite account and like attacked you.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
And then it's like, by the way, like, stop wearing my underwear. I don't know. Like something funny you'd say to your kid. I don't know. I guess if your kid's wearing your underwear, you got other issues. But yeah, I don't know. It literally is a mind shift that, yes, routine is great and going to bed about the same time every night is good. And also, good God, order a pizza and stay up too late dancing. Here's one last thing I'll leave you with. Ask yourself, is this a funeral speech moment? And here's what I mean by that. I was in Walgreens a year or so ago. My wife started this tradition that on the last day of school, we hide and we attack the kids with water balloons. And it's become a funny thing. Like one year, my son was on the roof of like our small, like, it's become like World War III, and it's super, super fun. And they get me. Sometimes we've snuck up and got my wife. It's the whole thing's just chaos. I was in Walgreens, and I was getting some medicine or something, and I saw a thing of like 100 water balloons. And I just grabbed it because I thought that's going to be funny one day. And something was going on, and we needed to get to bed or whatever, and I'd filled up. Long story short, I remember saying, if I throw all these balloons right now, I think it was in the house. It might have been in the house. If I throw these right now, they will tell this story at my funeral. Like, remember that one time? Not that Dad got us to bed on time again, but do you remember that time goofball Dad started throwing water balloons or snowballs or whatever it was in the house? And so sometimes I ask myself, will they tell this story at my funeral? Because if so, I'm gonna let it rip. Now, that's not always a good thing, but it's one of those just, this isn't a good idea on a Tuesday night. Yeah, but they'll tell the story one day. So again, I love that question. Let's return our lives and our homes and our marriages and our relationship with our kids. Yes, they got to get their math homework turned in, but can we all start looking for a little more fun, playfulness, joy, laughter? Go get them. And don't play Fortnite. God help you. Love y'all. Bye.